So there's a lot to say after this game, and there's a lot of blame to throw around. But first thing I will say is that you've played arguably the best or second best team in the NFL on the road in San Francisco, and they embarrassed you. What the Patriots did to the Browns today wasn't embarrassed. The Patriots didn't embarrass the Browns, in my opinion. They played well against the Browns, but they did not embarrass the Browns. The Browns, if they were embarrassed, which I don't really think they were, but if you want to say they were embarrassed, they just embarrassed themselves with the self-inflicted wounds, which has been a running thing throughout this season. I said in my pregame show and in my preview for this week that for the Browns to win, the margin of error will be this thin, but there was a clear path for victory. And I think that's exactly what showed itself today. The Browns could have won this game if it weren't for those 3 turnovers, the 2 fumbles by Nick Chubb and the 1 interception by Baker Mayfield, where Joe Bitonio was absolutely blown up on a shovel pass. And, you know, that's technically an interception. People are going to make fun of Baker Mayfield for that, but I don't think there's a lot of quarterbacks in the NFL that don't throw that interception in that situation. But those 3 turnovers, if you look at it, that's the difference in the game. One of those turnovers turned into a touchdown at 7 points. The other turnover was going to be a touchdown by the Browns at 7 points. The Browns lost by 14 points roughly. That's a tie game. That's a whole different ball game. And that was the difference for the Browns. The fact that they turned the ball over just 3 times. Well, not just 3 times. 3 times is way too much. But they turned the ball over 3 times, and that was the difference in this game. Because other than those turnovers, if you take the turnovers away and you look at the stat sheet, Nick Chubb played good enough for you to win. Baker Mayfield played good enough for you to win, but they turned the ball over 3 times. That was the difference. Now, the second thing people are going to want to talk about is Freddie Kitchens. Should Freddie Kitchens get fired? How hot is Freddie Kitchens' seat? What's going on with the offense? Is this Freddie Kitchens' fault? Overall, I don't think the whole thing is Freddie Kitchens' fault, but there are some things that are just coming out of this coaching staff that just are questionable, man. They're just not. I am somebody who wants to believe in Freddie Kitchens, and I am starting to believe that I don't know if he's worth believing in like I thought it was. I don't know if he has the potential as a head coach. I know he's a great human being, but I just don't know if he's a head coach because man, there's just some questionable garbage going on here. We still got the weird games going on with Rashard Higgins. Don't know what the hell's going on there. The whole Demarius Randall thing this week was weird. And then you get into the game and you just have some of the most questionable things happen. Both the challenges were bad challenges, especially the pass interference one, because one, you didn't have an argument on the pick play. That was a clear pick. That was after 1 yard. That's pass interference. You got to accept that. You got to move on. And you can't cost yourself a timeout in the second half when you already wasted one because you couldn't get a line fast enough. And then when they went for it on 4th down, they had the punt team come out there and commit a false start so they can then trot their offense back out. What the hell is that? What is that? That is the weirdest. That is just mind-boggling stupid right there. That's just stupidity at its finest. I've never, and I am a Browns fan. I have watched Hugh Jackson for 3 years. I have watched bad coach after bad coach after bad coach do questionable thing after questionable thing, and I can't lie. That might be one of the most questionable things I have ever experienced while watching an NFL game. I gave a lot of flack to Cliff Kingsbury over the summer, saying that might have been the worst hire. But right now, Cliff Kingsbury has won more games and looked more competent as a head coach. And maybe that's the Browns' issue, is that they don't have competency at head coach, and that is trickling down throughout the team. So I'm not at the point now where I'm getting mad at people who want to fire Freddie Kitchens, but the reality is he has 9 games. The Browns aren't going to fire him in the midseason, or at least I don't think that is going to be the case. And he has 9 games to prove whether he is worth taking a shot on next year. Because if he does not come out of this with a winning record, if he does not come out of this with a playoff berth, it's going to be very hard to justify keeping Freddie Kitchens around next year because I can't point at any of the positives that he's brought to this team this season. You know, he hasn't made the offense better despite having better pieces. This team does not seem to be more well run. They don't seem to be more disciplined. They don't seem to have some of these issues fixed. And they have questionable sideline behavior and sideline antics going on. Some of the stuff that just happens during the game that are coaching related, that are decision making related from the coach, it's mind boggling. It's bad. And then when you have a bad game plan on top, well, I don't think it was a terrible game plan this week. I mean, I think it got blown up because Nick Chubb had the fumbles early on, but it was just, it's just one thing after another that make you scratch your head every week with this coaching staff. And it really makes me wonder if that's not what's holding the team back. Defensively, we've given Steve Wilkes a lot of credit for a defense that's played middle of the road. And this week, I think he had some of the most mind-boggling, dumb third and short defensive calls I've ever seen in my life. There were 3 times where the Browns had Tom Brady in third and short, and the Browns trotted out quarters defense out there. 4 deep safeties on Tom Brady on third and short, which means they're going to give Tom Brady the flat. Now, the reason they did that and the ideology behind it was they were going to go all out on the blitz. They didn't want to get beat over top, so they went quarters there. But that is the dumbest thing to do. If you have to go all out and put your defense in quarters on third and short in order to stop Tom Brady, you're not going to stop him because he knows the blitz is coming. He's going to rotate his protection over to account for that, and he's going to find the open man in the flat, and it's not even going to be difficult. Why would you? There was so much questionable decision-making from both sides of this coaching staff that makes me question maybe what's wrong with the team, because the talent is there, but maybe it's the coaching staff. Maybe there's some kind of internal drama going on there, because there's definitely, I don't know who is the main source of it, and that's why I'm not with Freddie Kitchens getting fired, because unless you can prove he's the main source of this dysfunction, but there is dysfunction. There's clear dysfunction in this coaching staff. Something weird is going on there. They're not focused, and it's reflecting on the team. Now, let's look into some of the win criteria I put out for both teams. For the Patriots, well, this was an easy one for them. Get 10-point lead. They got that early. They got the 10-point lead early. Keep Brady clean, under 2 sacks. They did not do that. That is why they did not beat the Browns by as much as some people thought they would. And if you can get it, if the Patriots got 14 points or higher lead, this game's over. And that was the case here. Once the Patriots went up 14, this game was pretty much done. Now for the Browns, their win criteria, they actually did some things here, but they didn't do the key things. Baker has to be turnover free. Wasn't. Threw the 1 interception, whether you think it's a questionable one, I think it is, but he also got lucky and Stephen Gilmore dropped that obvious interception, so it counts. But again, Baker played well. 20 of 31, 194 yards, 1 touchdown. If you look at what every other quarterback has done against Tom Brady this year, I mean, not Tom Brady, but the Patriots defense, that's pretty good. That's good enough to put yourself in a winning position. Nick Chubb, 20 carries, 131 yards. Man, if he had 2 touchdowns instead of 2 fumbles, Browns would have won this game, but he had 2 fumbles, 2 huge fumbles, and that cost the Browns the game. It did. And that's part of why the Browns lost. The other part, don't try to prove anything this game. I think actually Freddie Kitchens didn't do that. I don't think he came out here trying to prove anything, prove that Baker's a guy, and threw the ball way too much this week. Threw the ball moderately enough. Can't blame him. So I'll give Freddie Kitchens for that. Give him credit for that, because I did kind of blow him up early in this video. Get points early. They could have, but they fumbled. Get and win time of possession. They could have, but they fumbled. And then get ready to disrupt passing game, sack him 2 or more times. I think the Browns did pretty good against Tom Brady today. This game was always going to come down to the turnovers. The margin of error were the turnovers. If the Browns could keep those turnovers down, preferably 0, they were going to win this game. But we knew if you gave the Patriots the ball, if you turned this ball over, they were going to do something with it. They were going to win this game because of those turnovers. And that is what it is. Again, like I said in the preview, like I've been saying all week, Browns have a path to win this game. The landing strip was this thin, and I didn't trust them to land in that strip because they just haven't done it all year, and they did what they've done all year this week. Now, what does that say for the future? I actually think this game gave you some positive signs, but what does that say going for the future? I actually think this game gave you some positive signs for the stretch coming ahead, because while they did have 3 turnovers, while those 3 turnovers are too much, these weren't 3 turnovers in the normal way that the Browns get the 3 turnovers, because they normally get 3 turnovers because they stink, because they are just Baker's making a terrible read and he threw the ball in the coverage. Those are the turnovers that make me think that this thing can't be moved past. But this week, Joe Bitonio getting flipped on his head and kicking the ball out of Nick Chubb, I don't think that's going to happen again. Nick Chubb having more than 1 fumble in a game, I don't think that's going to happen again. And Joe Bitonio getting blown up like that on a shovel pass of all plays, I don't think that's going to happen again. Those 3 turnovers were pretty freak plays, honestly. They were pretty abnormal. And those are easier things to understand, and that's probably not going to happen again. But what the Browns did do is they were able to run the ball against a very good defense. They were able to get the ball going in the air against a good defense. They were able to do some things against this really good defense that they weren't able to do against the San Francisco 49ers, who are the only other comparable defense in the NFL. I actually think they're a better defense than the New England Patriots, but time will tell on that. But look, there are definitely some positives going into next week against Denver and for the rest of the season. Definitely some positives. Browns could definitely turn this thing around. Baker Mayfield looked a lot more accurate than he has looked in the first half of this season, this game. Made some good throws. Made those throws that made you remember why Baker Mayfield was drafted number 1. Just threw some pretty balls today. But ultimately, the 3 turnovers killed them against the Patriots, which we knew if they turned the ball over against the Patriots, that was going to happen. The offensive line, they made the change with Greg Robinson, and they were still up and down, but I would say they were a different up and down. I think their highs were much better, and their lows were just a little bit lower. They still gave up way too many sacks, but, when they were able to seal up and have everybody in the right protection, Baker had time. That's why Baker looked a lot better today. He had time to set his feet and throw the ball, and, that's a good thing. I think they have a good change there with Jordan McRae at left tackle. I think that might hold up a little bit better than Greg Robinson has, because I think he's playing a little bit better than Greg Robinson. The guard situation with Wyatt Teller and Eric Kush, I don't know what the hell was going on. They rotated those guys like 5 times in the game. This is preseason stuff here. They gotta come on. Like I'm tired of the weird coaching stuff going on every week. I can't be the only one. I know I'm not the only one, but stuff like that really is just on my last nerve. Make a decision and go for it. This isn't a preseason. Pick a guy, put him in there, play the game, But that's all I have to say about the offensive line. I thought they played better. I thought their highs were much higher. I thought their lows were a little bit lower. Still up and down, but, positive going into next week against Denver. My last takeaway from this game is, man, I just don't know about Freddie Kitchens anymore. If you can't tell from this whole video, that is the one thing that I have lost faith in throughout this game. And it's not because he got outcoached. It's not because, the Browns lost the game against the Patriots. It's just the decisions that happened within the game were just goofy. Like, I felt like somebody took Freddie Kitchens' controller and was trolling, like just hitting timeout for no reason. It was just bad decision making, flat out bad decision making, and it's gotten to a point to where I can't sit here and make excuses for him. I can't sit here and say that he's going to figure it out. And I can't put this under the umbrella of first-year head coach, because let's face it, Browns have had first-year head coaches that haven't done the level of just mind-blowing mistakes that Freddie Kitchens has, and I just think that, maybe the media might be on to something. Maybe Freddie's not the guy. Maybe it's time for the Browns to look at their options for next season and see if there's somebody available, because, man, Freddie has not put up a good showing. Now, he has 9 games to show if he belongs, to show that he is a competent head coach in this league and that he can lead the Browns to victory. And I hope he proves us wrong. I hope he shows his might. I hope he shows why he's the head coach. But, you know, I'm just worried that the Browns are going to lose some of these important games down the stretch because of bad coaching situations. You know, this game, the bad coaching decisions did not kill you because the game was not close enough for those to kill you. But the challenge on that pass interference and leaving your offense with one timeout with 11 minutes left to go in the fourth quarter, that's the decision that's going to kill you against a team that you can actually beat. And those are the things that I worry about going down the stretch. I hope he gets those figured out. I hope he starts to make some better decisions. But, you know, through 8 weeks is enough sample size to determine, you know, I don't know if that's the case, you know. And that's my big takeaway. I just don't know about Freddie Kitchens anymore. But that's my thoughts on the game. What are your thoughts on the game? Vent your frustrations down below, or let me know if you're looking forward to Denver, if you thought you saw some positive signs here that means the Browns can make a run later on in the season. Let me know your thoughts down in the comment section down below. If you like what I do here, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, ding that notification bell so you can be notified when I upload. And if you want to help the show out, you can buy some merch, or you can join the Patreon, have your name added to the bar that pops up from time to time on the videos. And show off to your friends. But that is it for this week's video. Thank you guys for watching. Have a great day. Have a good night.